Hello everyone, I'm Emma, and today we're going to be looking at my art for a change. I'm going to be going through my computer and looking at the oldest digital art I have on it. I'll be going through organized by my oldest to my latest art and seeing what is the most interesting stuff we can find and talk about what I could have done better. So, let's get into it. So this right here is the oldest digital art I can find on my computer. It's from 2013. And this is from when me and my little sister wanted to make our own fake Pokemon game. So this was one of the Pokemon, and it looks kind of hideous. The idea of pixel art is there, but it's very simple. And it has weird socks. The colors are way too saturated. What could I have done better? Everything. And there are a lot of these, I'll have you know. This is what the last Pokemon evolves from. It looks like it has a weird bendy pickle on its chest. So that's fun. These are actually the shiny versions of the Pokemon. If you know anything about Pokemon, you know what that means. These are the normal ones. They still look hideous, of course. Let's move on from this terror. Wow, look at this one though. You know, the face isn't bad, and then you get to the claws. If this was a real Pokemon, it would be my favorite. This is one of the characters that was in that fake Pokemon game. The anatomy in the arm, shoulder, chest region here, I feel like I don't even need to explain how that looks weird. It's too thin, the arm is too thick, and it connects where it shouldn't. Okay, the chin is so pointy. The nose doesn't make any sense. It's just like a straight line on his face. And the hair. It looks like a pile of hay. Okay, this is from 2013 as well. It's this purple cat, I guess, creature that I had created. And I only drew like 3 pictures of it because that's what I've done in the past with many original characters. I just draw them 2 or 3 times and then I'm done with them. It's more, maybe I found it more interesting to create instead of to sustain. So this is made with Microsoft Paint, if you couldn't tell. Well, I don't know why it was crying. I guess I was feeling emotional. The tears have little highlights, but nothing else in the picture does. Here I had tried drawing some hyena looking thing. There are some things I did kind of well here. The fact that I used more than one color of shadow. I tried harder than I did in some things, so that's a plus. Okay, this is when I started using programs other than Microsoft Paint. And this was actually done with the drawing tool on DeviantArt. DeviantArt Miro, I believe it's called, or at least it was back then. Okay, I tried to do shadows. This side profile, I'll have to show you sometime. I wrote my own Yu-Gi-Oh manga, and the side profiles in that are extremely hideous. So this may look kind of bad, but compared to that, this is really good. It's really simple, it's not great, but there have been much worse things I've done in the past. The chin. The chin is so pointy, it's so off-center. All these characters look the same. He just has antlers on his head. That was my problem with creating characters in the past. They just had like one defining feature. I don't even want to talk about this one. Let me just say one thing that would make this better because there's so many. His head is so tiny. If your head was this small compared to your body, you'd probably be like 9 feet tall or something. Or you just have the world's smallest head, I don't know. There's some weird things like why are these furs darker just right there? It doesn't look good as a stylistic choice. Here's the creature in full. Its back half seems to be a lot lower than its front half. I tried adding some, dimension, making the legs in the back look darker than the ones in the front. It didn't really work. This is one of the first things I drew with markers. You can tell there were the pretty good ones, the Copics, which I used for the skin, And then there were these other really cheap ones that I used. And you can tell by how smeary and gross that is. Again, I'll just kind of boil it down to one biggest issue. It's his head and his neck and how that all goes together. His neck is about the same width as his arm, and it's connected so weirdly. It's like he has an owl head or something. Here's another one. I tried to add some cool shining effects. But yeah, I really went in to try highlights everywhere, but they're placed in very unrealistic places. Look, this is the light source, right? So why is the highlight on the bottom of his shoe rather than the top? Again, the pointy chins. But I think I really tried to do light and I failed. This one, I didn't realize I had been drawing the outline in dark blue instead of black, but that's actually kind of cool looking. The collar doesn't make any sense. This just looks like a trapezoid or whatever stuck onto the side of his neck. The chin is so lumpity-bumpity. The shadows in his hair exist in like 4 places. Oh, wait, this is hilarious. This is the uncropped version, and you see in the corner right here, this dot I didn't realize existed. Same thing in this picture. Just dots on the side. This guy's eyes are so big and they're so weird. They're like half white. Like the highlight takes up half of his eye. These are all just more of the same. I guess I was very consistent in December of 2013. This one's titled Help. He has like banana hair. This one, I hate it. The angle. He's so slanted, it's like he's been italicized. This highlight in the hair, it just looks like a worm on his head. I really tried. I mean, look, I tried the shadows on the neck and stuff. You can tell I used a fill bucket tool because there's all these gaps in the color in the hair. This is named Bamboo. These are called Bamboo. I did actually write a baby name book if you would like to check out names that are odd like Bamboo, but Bamboo is not actually in the book. I'm giving that one to you for free. But it's on Kindle and you can check the link in the description if you want to check that out. I had this phase of drawing these weird anthropomorphic wolf guys. But yeah, they would have like man arms and stuff. It was just really weird. They don't really look like wolves, they just kind of look like generic doggish creature. But I did try to add texture to the fur. I made sure it was moving directionally with how it would actually flow. And I added some darker tones in there. Here's another one. But this one's wearing clothes. Listen, I just definitely had a wolf phase. I think I still do, but just not like this. What on earth are these creatures I designed? It's so lumpy. Actually, I think it might have been supposed to be like a rock Pokemon or something. So this is a character that I created with my sister. My little sister. This is a character that I created with my little sister. She did the character and I did the design pretty much. Although she gave me the basics of the design. And then I just drew it for fun and then it became all I drew for a long time. But with this one, we have another neck problem. In this one, his neck is probably thinner than his arm. There were some nice touches though. I tried to do some texture and shadows. I even added a touch of pink to the cheeks and the ears. But there isn't really anything redeemable about this. Here's another one of that same character. The wings are horrendous. What on earth? The rock is so faded. Like that's all just a spray paint airbrush tool. And it's very weird looking. It looks see-through. Like a rock should have very clear definitions because of the texture. And this is just one fuzzy blob. This one, I actually kind of like some things, considering I made it when I was 14. So what I did with this one was I scanned it in and then I colored it in by just coloring over it in Microsoft Paint. But I didn't color over the sleeves, so it still just has all of the paper texture on the sleeves. That's kind of interesting. I like that for once in my life I actually tried to do a good background, and I added some texture in the leaves with different colors. And the moon, I even added some texture to that, but there's obviously mistakes. What is this line going through the moon? But again, the neck is so thin. I don't know why I couldn't draw a proper neck. Can I just say, there's a lot of art I'm skipping just because it's just so dumb. I'm skipping a lot of fan art just because I find it less interesting to talk about. Just so you know, I have more art that I'm not showing. But I might do that in the future. I did show the Pokemon original characters, but I'm not gonna show my other fan art. So this one, it was a fairy. I think his name was Maple. Again, someone I drew like 2 times. I guess I just really didn't care when it came to coloring in the leaves because they're very messy. And there's also just this odd glowingness to him. I think what the problem was with that, I was obsessed with coloring things with the airbrush tool, and that left it somewhat transparent on this program. So then when I went in to add the pink background, the pink was showing through all of it, so I had to go on the background layer and add a lot of white so that the pink wouldn't show through. Basically, everything I did added so much extra unnecessary work. This isn't terrible, though. Here's me being angsty again. Problem number 1, nothing is centered. Like the mouth, maybe kind of, but look, coming straight up from his chin, the nose is like a whole nose off, and that just messes with the eye. No facial symmetry in anything. This is so hideous. Do I even need to talk about it? Okay, here's another one of those weird anthropomorphic wolves. The scars on the arm are a nice touch, but you know what's really creepy is that he has a vest tucked into baggy pants, and I cannot humor that. That's just a fashion crime. Oh man. Okay, first of all, his skin is green. I did not pick that well. And his nose is like an arrow pointing down. And it clearly was not like that in any other picture. That was not a stylistic choice. That was an anatomical error. Here, I think I was testing my ability to draw expressions. The shoulders are so small, it makes the characters look like children, and they're supposed to be adults. The eyes are just kind of weird looking. But I mean, she does look surprised, so I'll give it that. Here I was trying to draw chibi style. It's a little messy, but I guess it's not terrible. Here it is, it's supposed to be a character sitting against a wall. I think that leg is kind of hideous. Because it kind of makes it, like, obviously, maybe I tried to do perspective in which something closer to you would look larger. But it doesn't look like it's coming closer to you, so it just makes it look like the calf is way larger than a thigh, and I don't think most people's bodies are like that. The shoulders are weirdly, like, sloped. Colors are a little weird. The clouds in the sky are definitely hideous. I think the things I've done unseriously have sometimes turned out more entertaining than the things I've tried to do well. This is a character I definitely abandoned pretty quickly. The picture isn't terrible. The nose, though, the nose is always never in the center. I mean, the line of the nose should really be here. But why did I think it belonged there? I just don't even know. Here's another character I gave up on. I tried for a sunlight kind of look, so I added some streaks of light over his face, which kind of turned out okay. But it's a very messy picture. The colors going out of the lines everywhere. It's just blobby and gross. The snow, though. The snow's kind of weird, don't you think? There's some weird things, but maybe you could pass them off. That's fine. I realize She has like a little bit of gold on the top of her ears in this picture, and I don't think she ever did in any other one, so yay for inconsistency. And this one singular highlight in her hair, and there's no other highlight in the rest of the picture. Here was a self-portrait. 16 years old, I drew myself as this weird chibi thing. It could be worse. You know, maybe it just looks bad because it's me. Here was a fake band I made. There's just a lot of weird things. Like, if I just could go in and move the placement of facial features, it would look better. The grass isn't terrible in this one. At least I tried to do varying colors, so that adds something to it. The pose is pretty good. I wonder if I used a reference for that, because I don't think I could have done that without a reference. Here's more of this guy. Why is the hood like this? Like it's staying up so high behind it. That's a stiff hood. And the chin, it's so pointy, and these people have like no cheeks. Where's that band again? I think the biggest crime here is fashion. Like, what is this scarf? But I appreciate this photo gallery that you think I actually drew a person. Fun fact, this is my most liked picture on DeviantArt. I guess I peeked at this messy drawing. I understand why people might like it though, because it's got fun little like shoulder conscience characters. And the bad one has defeated the good one. But it's really messy. I don't know, I think it could be fun to redraw. Maybe I'll do that someday. I don't even know why I drew this and it's so bad. Here's an interesting one. I drew this hideous picture in 2013, and then I drew it again in 2016. And the 2016 one is definitely better, but the scar is still weird, and it's just like, why did this picture even exist in the beginning? I just like drawing weird, angsty people with spiky hair, I guess. This was a character from a comic or something that I never ended up making. All around, it's not terrible, but it definitely could be improved. Like the hands. The hands are not good. It's more like angstiness. This one's actually pretty good compared to a lot of the others. The nose seems to actually make sense. The chin isn't terrible. We don't have that creepy stiff hood again. The feathers, I really didn't know how to draw feathers. I don't think I'm even doing it now. Yeah, the arms are a little strange, but it's actually not that bad. I love just finding like concept sketches for pictures that I never drew, so this is all that exists of them now. This was a pretty fun one. But they're fairies and I didn't draw their wings because I didn't know how to make that work with a ballroom dancing photo. The background is definitely hideous. I don't even want to talk about what's wrong, I just... Cool concept, weird execution. Here I tried to draw a realistic landscape. It's not horrible. It's an out of context drawing. I know I said I wouldn't be showing fan art much, but here's a hideous BB-8. This is aptly titled Lips Practice, and actually it's pretty good, so I'm proud of that. Definitely used a reference. This is just hideous. Something just doesn't look right about these characters. I think their faces are too long or something, like their heads are too long. I like the detail I put into actually trying to design the dress on the right though, because I don't like designing clothes, because I'm not good at it. This one has a lot of really bad coloring mistakes, and for that I don't like it. Also the face is just like weird. Like look at her face. Her eyes are way too high on her head. Oh, I just want to go and bring her eyes down. This one, the color is really weird. His skin has a greenish quality to it. It's actually not horrible. I tried to be better about anatomy in here. It still wasn't perfect though. Here I redrew those conscience characters. It's really messy, but I just needed something quick for live streaming art. This was like a color palette challenge. It gave you like 3 or 4 colors. 4, I guess. 5? No, 5 colors. I can't count. It's pretty good, actually. Obviously there's mistakes, but I think it's pretty good how I did it. Here's another one. This one was fun. I think there's definitely some sketchy shading choices that just don't make sense, but I like it. Here's an example of a picture I don't like. It's just so... there's something so wrong about it. So that's all the art I'm going to talk about today. That was most of the interesting art I could talk about on my computer. I do have a lot of art that was never scanned into my computer though, that I would like to show you sometime. I don't know if this was interesting or not. I actually found it kind of boring. I thought I would cringe more. I don't know. Maybe I'm just used to it. So that was the video. Feel free to like the video if you enjoyed watching it, and subscribe if you'd like to see more art content in your subscriptions box in the future, because I will definitely be making many more art videos even if you subscribe or not, so I suggest you subscribe because they're coming. Anyway, I'm Emma Western, and have a fantastic day.